Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is for the month of July 2024. It's going to help you navigate the next 6 to 8 weeks. And that's right, we're actually working from the end of the zodiac to the beginning. Just my way of saying thanks for all of you that have always patiently waited. I hope you enjoy this. As always, you can use this for sun, rising, and moon, and I like to begin my readings with channeled messages. The first thing that came through today in dreams was an image of a dog chasing its tail. To me, this is a pretty profound symbol because it represents that whatever it is you're seeking, in this case, it really felt like success to me, or leadership, it's already contained right here within. And Spirit was basically encouraging you to take a step back, to slow down, and just to kind of take a look at what's going on around you, including the cyclical energy that I was picking up on. So let's go through the bullet points here and we'll talk about it. So again, once I woke up and meditated on this, I just got the energy of success. And if you start to kind of do an audit of whatever it is you're spending your time and energy into, or in, I should say, there may be certain things where you're kind of feeling stuck in a cycle. You work really hard, but you're not getting any progress there. Or you might feel like you're constantly chasing an opportunity, but there's no answer or there's no feedback, no reciprocity. For many of you, this is an entrepreneurial sort of call to action. So if you don't see it out there, you could also be the agent of change and creation yourself. So if you're thinking of launching a business, starting something new, or just boldly going in a different direction, all of that would be contained within this imagery. This is also an invitation to look forward rather than backward. And what we're seeing with that dog is it just is chasing something that either already happened in the past or it's not looking at the opportunities around it. So slow down, look and survey the sort of horizon and the future, and no could have, should have, would have sort of energy should be present now. It's all about possibilities. You're primed for success right now, but focus and confidence are the key areas of opportunity and growth. So I think if you just take a step back, the Eight of Cups, focus on what it is that you stand for and you want to do, and perhaps kind of like just take charge, take the lead in that area. You might see some movement here. And sometimes, when you're looking at a dog and it's going in circles, it can be fun for a moment or two, but towards the end, it's just exhausting. And that's what I was picking up on. Something had perhaps just lost its sort of like charge or fun or favor with you. And that's a clear sign that it's not only okay, but advantageous for you to move in a new direction. Okay? And again, leadership is there. It's just within. So if you're willing and you're ready to step into that role, it's definitely availing itself to you. The next thing is a nice complement to this, which is I just saw space as far as the eye could see. And it was just like this open, it wasn't like outer space. It was more like a plane, like an open plane where I could just look in any direction and just see, openness. We have a tendency in our lives to fill up everything. We fill up our houses, we fill up our hard drives on our computers, we try to fill space in conversation. And this message from Spirit is keep a little bit of openness, open mind, open heart, and leave some room in your life for growth and for even maybe someone to come in. For those of you that might be trying to manifest a partnership, friend, or love interest, this is also about just being comfortable with yourself and the space around you. I featured the Eight of Swords here because the last bullet is really important. It took me years of kind of reading the Eight of Swords to get this appreciation. There's a positive spin on it, which is just because it's not in front of you doesn't mean that it's not coming, and it doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just simply means that you can't see it right now. So both the Eight and the Two of Swords are inviting you to look beyond the obvious and to keep the faith here. So hold space and also hold or keep the faith as well. Your belief in yourself, your ability to not panic just because it hasn't happened right here, right now, that is going to be a very attractive and magnetic trait, and it's going to make it easier for new people, places, and opportunities to land on your lap. Okay? Beautiful, powerful imagery coming through in dreams. Now let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle and see what else Spirit has to say. pretty amazing month so far based on what I'm pulling here. Let me finish getting all the cards selected, but I like what I see. Wow. So we have death and rebirth coming through here. Some major themes of movement and change with the Wheel of Fortune as well. It looks great. Let's get started here with your Catalyst card. The Catalyst, of course, is something that helps you make necessary movement or change in your life. And today's Catalyst, or this month's Catalyst, I should say, is lead. Lead is an interesting sort of energy to come forth. I looked at the alchemic sort of guide with this, and they said that this was connected to Saturn, which is all about lessons in life. And sometimes lessons can weight us down, and I thought of kind of like a lead balloon is what came to me when I focused on this card. So I think that for many of you, one of the potential roadblocks could simply be a mental block, and it could be as simple as thinking it's never going to happen, or this isn't possible, or I can't, and then fill in the blank with whatever it is that you think you cannot do. Let go of the limiting thoughts. That's the first thing. The other thing here is if there's anything in your life that is kind of coming forth and feels like it's an anchor. It could be a person in your life that constantly is weighing you down with their complaints, with their drama or their trauma. And it's just sort of like, you've done as much as you can. I think it's important to create boundary and hold some space. Going back into the channeled messages, it's important for you to have room to breathe and to think and to see. So one of the things this month that can help you release these lead anchors or lead balloons in your life is just to simply create some distance and say no. And when it comes to your own limiting thoughts or ideas, try to flip them around. It's been a while since I've talked about that, but if you have a phrase like, I can't do this, think to yourself, why can't I do this? And then take it a step further and say, I can do this. I will do this. I am doing this. So you start with the insecurity, the question, the anxiety, and you just gently start to move it into an inquisitive state and then into a goal. And that will help you out. All right? And if there's any lead in your plumbing or your pipes, this is a good time to get rid of that as well. It is something that some of you might be dealing with. So if you're buying a new house, get that inspected. Okay, let's go ahead and just, as I said, when I was taking a quick survey of the Celtic Cross, I was pretty heartened by what I saw. There's only one really challenging card, and that is in these sort of defeatist thoughts here in the Five of Swords, and that is around the self energy. So we already kind of hit on that, but I'll talk more about that later. But otherwise, Six of Wands, synchronicity, the Wheel of Fortune, and then we have a card here of intuition, possibly seeing through an illusion as well, but overall it's a good spread. Let's start with your center card. Patience is probably the most challenging thing for many of you as the month begins. What a divinely illustrated hanged man here. So if we flip it in the upright position, even though it came to reverse, we can appreciate what it's giving us, which is basically insight, intuition, and it's saying that all of this is going to be worth it. Everything's flipped here because normally the lotus would be on top, but when you are in the hanged man position, you're being asked to look at something like inside out or from a new perspective, which we discussed earlier, or maybe even see it from a new direction. And when you have this new perspective, you'll understand how you got there, what you can do with the situation, and maybe what you want to do next. Taking a break, taking a pause is so necessary. So in the upright position, this would be a necessary, albeit sometimes inconvenient pause. When it's reversed, it's trying to hit the accelerator when you're supposed to kind of wait through something one more moment. So There's going to be plenty of time for movement. You're primed for success. We can see this in the deep past. Take an extra moment before moving forward, okay? Double check anything that you're going to send out, particularly if it's an application for school, for a loan, if there's an important letter of correspondence, if you want to have a face-to-face meeting with someone, do your homework, collect your thoughts, and really get ready. If I turn the camera down and you look at what's crossing it, it's one of the best cards. Arguably the best, because it's the door that opens up to everything else, the world. So there's a pause. It may seem like it's going to last forever, but it won't, folks. So right on top of this is the World card, the final one in the major arcana, major doors, major expansion, major opportunity. This can represent anything that's really big and positive in your life. A new job, a new relationship, something that someone sees as potential in you and they reach out and say, hey, are you interested in this? You should say yes if they do. So it could be a speaking engagement, it could be a new job, anything. It may come as a surprise because you've been waiting and you may have gotten to that point where you wonder, will it ever happen? Just at that point where you think, I'll be okay no matter what, the universe comes rushing in and says, okay, you're ready now. Or if you even thought to yourself, I'm going to focus on something else. Typically, when you just detach a little bit from it, then the universe comes rushing in with that wish being sort of granted. Travel, new places of living, new jobs, new relationships, opportunities to get published or to have a speaking opportunity, all of that. The world is just about things going bigger, brighter, bolder. And that's where you should really be putting your energy this month. That's why I was trying to get you out of the I can't, I won't, I'll never sort of energy, because based on what I see at the center, it doesn't sync with you. This is just a month of expansion for you. If you're willing and ready to receive it, you have to be open to that. You have to hold space. You have to keep the faith. So I mentioned the Six of Wands in the channeled messages. When I saw the dog chasing its tail, there's no reason to chase after anything. Let success come to you. Own the success within. Allow yourself to be that sort of agent of change. Six of Wands. So again, it is success personified in the card. It also is a chance to sometimes realize that to be an innovator, to be a leader, to be someone that changes things up can mean to be a little bit alone, because in the beginning things can be messy, they can be a little bit alone, or lonesome I should say, but that doesn't mean that just because you don't see a crowd cheering or money rolling in or opportunities knocking that it won't happen. You're on the road to success. Keep it up. Keep up with that vision. Keep spreading the word, and these two cards together, like, I couldn't look for better energies when it comes to new endeavors with business or even with love. Great expansive energy at the very beginning. But the challenge is to continue to think expansively and believe in the possibilities, and know that even without the initial validation or, again, applause, that you're still on that right path. What I also see here is, even if you're not focusing so much on the expansion, this just shows me you've been working really hard and successfully sort of either, I talked to the previous sign about this, like graduating a karmic experience, or you've just achieved a certain level of success, and celebrate that. Have some fun with that. This would be a great time to basically not just practice gratitude, but I would say, have some fun and take a break, because if you keep working at a breakneck speed, that's the same as like overworking, and you're not going to be able to sort of celebrate how far you've come and maybe see the new opportunities that are availing themselves to you. Ace of Swords could be one of those. New contract, could be a pivotal email, phone call, some form of communication coming forth where you have a chance now to say, oh my gosh, yes, let's do this. This is an affirmative, a yes sort of energy when it's in the upright. So one thing Spirit is preparing you for is to be ready to say yes. And I know that sounds like, well, of course, Nicholas, I would say yes, but depending on how long you've been in the Hanged Man energy, or how much other sort of, again, it could be people or activities or thoughts are weighing you down, you may get distracted and miss this. Please don't, Capricorn. I just see a breakthrough happening for you. You've been maybe stuck or frustrated here, but then the World, the Six of Wands, the Ace of Swords, these are great energies here. your key sort of component here that people are tuning into is your communication skills. King of Swords is a great communicator, also talks the talk, walks the walk. So staying accountable and leading by example and taking action on whatever it is that you say you're going to do, and maybe even going above and beyond that. Really, really fantastic energy here. So you may actually be tasked with stepping into the spotlight, answering a question, doing some public speaking. People may just be sort of talking to you more. The King of Swords can listen just as much as he talks. So whether you're playing the role of therapist, advisor, or you're kind of teaching or helping others, people are very much interested in what you have to say, what you're doing, what you have to think as well. So lean into that, please. And for those of you that are writers, this is a really good time to put the pen to paper and to make something amazing happen. Like, even if you're not writers, this is also a hands-on sort of energy when it comes to that. So if you're ready to get a document signed, if you're ready to have a legal conversation, for those of you that are more in like science or medicine, this can also be kind of like a paper that you might be writing for research and things of that nature. I just get really good things with that, especially because this card is typically one of publication and outreach. So if you're trying to get published, or if you're trying to disseminate or announce something in a big way, yes, now is the time. You've waited long enough, it's time. In the near future, we actually see the Wheel of Fortune. This is a time for you to really get vocal, because we can combine this with the King of Swords, inquisitive, and also knowledgeable about your money. So forget about just the face value, which typically shows opportunities knocking. This is also a call to you to, or a challenge, I should say, for you to just get a little bit deeper understanding on how to maybe invest your money, how to look at how you're sort of, if you're a business person, what your prices are for your services, if you're negotiating for a contract, what you're worth, if you're trying to sell your house, what it's worth. Do the research, really learn, and get to the point where you feel comfortable talking about it. The comfort, the confidence actually is also what's going to bring this value about. But now, just looking at it from a face value sort of thing, the Wheel of Fortune is showing a change in fortune for the better, because the card is upright. So if you've been experiencing challenges, this is a chance for things to move in the right direction. If things have been going well, then we see it continuing to go in that direction here. And then the Wheel of Fortune also is just like the World card, expansion. So this can show the end of one thing, the beginning of something new. And this is also sort of saying like it has the test of time here, because it can take you out almost a full calendar year, about 10 to 12 months. So I like what I see here. It feels like if it starts a little bit, bumpy here, or a little bit uncertain, it ends in a very positive way. And this is also something that doesn't have to have a close to it. It could just be a cycle that continues. So you're starting a nicer, more sustainable cycle. And we love that the Wheel of Fortune came through. If you're going to get a financial card, that's what I want to see. Now let's talk about I would say the most challenging card, because this represents an aspect of you. So the good news, if we're going to get the Five of Swords, is that it came through reversed. And because it's representing self, this is more of a dialogue that's going on in your mind. The easiest way to interpret this is that some of you may just have the self-defeating thoughts, which weigh you down a little bit. I talked about the lead balloon. It's just a metaphor. Basically, a balloon made of lead is not going to fly because it's heavy. Heavy thoughts prevent you from lifting off and really embracing the energy of the world, or the Wheel of Fortune. And Five of Swords is a no-win card for the most part. So you may be think of it as the angel and the devil on the shoulders, those cartoons. So what the Five of Swords would be doing is coming through and saying, this is never going to work, or you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not this or that enough. And it's those sort of the inner saboteur thoughts that come through from time to time. I would really love for you to push them back and say, not today. I'm not letting that dialogue win. I can do this. I will do this. I am doing this. If there is a person in your life that's planting those ideas or thoughts, it's important to cut the cords there and to create boundaries. Unfortunately, sometimes it can come from a parent, teacher, or friend, and it can be a backhanded compliment, which is they say something that's supposed to be nice, but they qualify it in such a way that it hurts. any of this stuff this month, please don't let it get under your skin. Please don't let it hold you back from what I see is otherwise a month filled with progress and punctuated with growth. This is basically shadow energy wanting to come through and test you. So whether it's you getting in your own way, someone around you getting in your own sort of path of success, or something from the past coming back and you're just getting in your headspace too much. You don't have time for this month. That's my main message with that. And it does feel like you're starting to realize that you deserve to be happy. The center of this Five of Swords is the heart. Someone in the past may have made you feel bad for, achieving success or finding love or being happy. And that's on them. Or if they're trying to tell you how to love or how to live, again, it's none of their business, okay? So I'm giving you permission to move in a new direction and to release those kinds of people and those kinds of thoughts. So as we kind of look at it, I'm okay with the fact that this came through in the area representing you, because it's easier to deal with those self-defeating thoughts when you recognize them. In the environment, once you're able to get through that, you could either be attracting this energy or projecting this and people are seeing it, or this is simply a synchronicity. The High Priestess is all of those, but because it's in the environment, there could be a very powerful and persuasive and possibly even influential person around you. This could help you achieve something, so this is positive. People could also, because like energy attracts like, when I look at the environment, this is also a mirror of you. So you're coming through as someone who is creative, who is powerful, who has the potential to make things happen. So I like what I see. Whether it's just a mirror of you or it's what you're calling in, trust your instincts this month. Be creative. Step into that position of authority and power and speak your mind. You have the ability to speak it into existence. If you see it, if you believe it, you can do it. You can create it. Believing is seeing, not the other way around. And that's why in the channeled messages I feature the Eight of Swords. It's not about what's around you. It's about what you can create. Your inner power, your magician and your High Priestess energy is coming forth to say, who cares if it's already here? I'm going to make something newer, better, bigger, brighter. So really lean into that energy of creation this month, okay? And don't be surprised if you're getting rewarded. So it's you, it's a mirror of you. It could be someone else coming through with that. And then we see prosperity, we see progress, we see new doors that are opening up. Let's look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. So this is a card also of leadership and power. It's not as high up on the ranks as, say, like Emperor or Empress. This is sometimes it's just about getting control and management over your own life, your own affairs, etc. It's kind of like in the middle. So some of you may be stepping into an intermediate or a middle management position at work. Some of you might also just be deciding to take the wheel and drive. So in that case, it is a big deal. If you say, you know what, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to do it, and it's my life. Look at the heart on this one. It's unencumbered versus the Five of Swords, where all of these sort of thoughts and ideas are piercing through it. So some of you are just finally following your heart and deciding to do what you want, okay? And with this also, we were talking about travel. Some of you might actually be purchasing a car because of these, or you might be purchasing a plane trip or any sort of ticket to something. An event could be on the horizon for you. I see it as an auspicious thing. If you're ready and you have the resources, go for it. In the outcome, we have a card that, when reversed, is interesting. It's also about like listening to your intuition. Normally the moon can be very positive because it's creative, it's powerful, but there are some tricky elements to it. So in the reverse state, sometimes it's simply not listening to instincts. If you see something and the door opens, seize the opportunity, okay? This could also be about ignoring a problem. So the lobster in this card, which is creeping out of the water, is someone in your life that may be trying to get away with something that you're afraid to look into because you think ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is just ignorance. So I always think knowledge is power, and this is a month where your power and potential is coming forth. Ask the questions. Do the research, dig in. It's better to deal with it now, fix it now, and really set yourself up for a nice firm foundation. You don't want these these sort of things cropping up later. Avoid unnecessary conflict or competition. You know what you need to focus on right now. You don't have time to worry about what other people think when it comes to, again, especially if it's just a competitive vibe or a backhanded compliment or anyone that's just coming through and trying to distract you from what's going on. The other thing here is don't underestimate your power of persuasion. This is a very persuasive card. This is a very persuasive card. You have the potential this month to get what you're seeking as long as you have to believe it for others to believe it. There could also be someone, this could be like a roadblock, that's trying to convince you not to do something or to do something that feels counter to what's right here. Listen to your heart. We can see it right here on the Chariot. That is your compass. That's what's going to keep you in the right direction. We're going to now extend this forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And the oracle card for health is angelic protection. So we can just kind of abstract this a couple of levels here. And protection in and of itself is making sure that you feel safe. And you feel safe in your relationships. Do you feel safe where you're living? This is also about protecting yourself in a way that matters. So for those of you that are looking at certain types of insurances or even just making sure that, you're changing the locks on your home, all of those things would be under this. So protect yourself and make sure that you're protecting the people that you love the most and that you feel safe. And as long as you feel that sense of safety and grounding and protection in your life, you're in the right direction. If you don't feel safe around a doctor or someone that is going to help you through anything health related, it's time to, put a stop to that, pump the brakes, and look for something new. This is also just about listening to your guides and the inner guidance. It either feels right or it doesn't, and you should always trust that. Whenever I haven't listened to that voice of reason, I always regret it. And, even when you're intuitive, there are moments sometimes where you're distracted and you don't ask the question or you don't stop, and then you have to deal with the consequence. So just listen to yourself. And if there's any doubt, pause until you're ready. Remember, right at the center, this is a nice connection here. We have the Hanged Man. So until you're ready to proceed, pause. Get the information that you need to, get the perspective, and get that sense of readiness and willingness. Now let's leave this oracle card to the side and just focus on the tarot cards and their meanings. Like I said, for those of you that are moving into a new place and there's old plumbing, definitely get that tested for lead. We can read that at face value. Other things that I'm picking up on. The Hanged Man can be a card that shows stagnation or stasis when it comes to exercise. So if you just have been feeling like you've been sitting too much, or you just want to get a little bit more active, talk to your doctor about it, figure out how you can start to amp up your exercise. This card is definitely a call to action there. The Hanged Man also has to do with sensitivity, basically on the ankle, like Achilles tendon, all the way down through the foot. So if you're dealing with anything there, speak with a podiatrist and just be kind to your shoes. Proper footwear is always a part of the Hanged Man or even the Five of Pentacles. If you want to move, yes, this could actually be very advantageous and positive for you. Some of you have outgrown wherever it is that you've been living, and maybe it's because you're increasing the size of your family. You could be moving in with someone, or you just feel like you need a change of scenery. The World card is definitely coming through to validate that. Along with some of you that are sitting too much, some of you might be fatigued from traveling. So if you have a lot of commuting that you do in the car, or if you're doing a lot of plane flights, it does take a toll on the body. So I think it's important to rest a little bit and make sure that you're getting balance and not overdoing that. The Moon card has to do sometimes when it's reversed with not having enough hydration. So make sure you're drinking ample water. A lot of times we take that for granted. We're drinking a lot of tea or juice or coffee, but we're not getting enough water. It has to do with reproductive organs as well. For those of you that might be trying to get pregnant, there might be some complications or stress might be getting in the way of that. Same thing with those of you that might be having unusual moon cycles or menstruation. This is just about paying attention to the body, getting any sort of care that you need in that respect. But by and large, most of these cards are pretty positive. A change of location, easing up on travel, and paying attention to basically urinary tract, reproductive tract, and getting any sort of assistance there if you need it. Those are the main things that I'm picking up on when it comes to health. So let's go ahead now and move on to wealth, resources, life purpose, and career. I'm just going to pull the card up here. We have a school of fish coming through here. The card is reversed. This is like the tail of the dog and the dog chasing that. You're the leader. You may feel like you need to get outside of that school of thought. You may feel like you don't want to follow the crowd. You want to kind of go in your own direction. Now, there are challenges and opportunities this month in teamwork. So if you can step into a leadership role and lead the team and feel that sense of, power and capacity here, we have, again, the Chariot card, not only the Chariot, but the Six of Wands. You can successfully lead this month. But some of you may be doing this for the first time or may not always want to be in the spotlight. Like it or not, it feels like that's coming around and it's an opportunity to shine. So try your best to just sort of embrace it if you can. There could also be a Pisces coming into your life that could bring in opportunity because we're looking at career and wealth and areas of growth associated with that. So again, be open to that if you have that sort of energy coming forth. Let's break this down now into three major categories. We're going to look at those of you that are already working, those that might be seeking employment, then we'll look at students and retirees. All right, beginning first with those that are already working. It's a good month. It's a great month, actually. Some of you are waiting to hear back on some news, but the World card, first of all, it's saying the wait is over. And whether or not you get what you want here, we still get the Wheel of Fortune in the near future. So for many of you, your wish is fulfilled, but if it isn't, now is the time to look elsewhere because we see another door opening. So I like what I see either way because the wait is over. That's what I can read from that. Assuming everything is good in a particular job that you might be working at, creativity is highly rewarded. Leadership is highly rewarded here. It feels like people are looking for someone to follow. And all of the fish are actually going straight towards that Chariot. Like I said, this doesn't have to be like the top of the heap when it comes to bosses, just someone that can help this group get together. So any kind of leadership that you can step into could be really, really positive. Your challenges this month in a workplace, low morale, sneaky people. There could be people trying to get away with stuff or trying to convince you to do something that isn't right. Don't do it. With the Moon card in reverse, things are going to see the light of day. Same thing with the Five of Swords reversed. Don't engage in gossip. If there's someone that's bullying or saying something cruel to or about someone, put a stop to it. Just say, I don't want to be a part of this, or that's wrong, or it's against policy, or stop. And if they give you a hard time, walk away, and if you need to get help, you can get help on that. Be the leader, be the example, and stand up for somebody, including yourself, if someone is acting a fool, because you are positioned for success this month. Now, with the Five of Swords, like I said, sometimes you can't win with this person. The best thing you can do in this situation is just to say no and walk away. And again, if you need help, go a level up if you need to, because arguing with Five of Swords, typically not worth it. So, but just advice here, again, generally, no gossip and don't do something that doesn't feel right. That's what I'm seeing here. I do like in the near future that we have the Wheel of Fortune and that we have in opportunities the Chariot. The challenge is the morale or behavior around you, or the inner saboteur. So look beyond those triggers and everything else seems pretty positive. And again, impatience. If I had to find the things that you want to avoid. But you've been doing some hard work. It looks like you're poised for success. Don't get in your own way this month, and I think you'll be okay. Communication, leadership of any level, like stepping up to a traditional leadership role or just helping a group out. All of that is going to pay off in a big way. For those of you that are looking for work this month, if you're ready and willing to move and or travel, or if you're okay with the amount of travel, maybe some of you want to see the world and it's okay. I see a job that has like lots of, you're going to be in the car or in the plane or in the train a lot. So if you're okay with that, that's one of the options. And it looks like it's going to pay well. That's one of the options here. Others of you that are looking, we're talking about your voice and your vision. So rather than trying to kind of blend in with everyone else, the Ace of Swords and King of Swords are painting with a very bold stroke and saying, pay attention to me because I am an innovator, because I disrupt the norm, because I have something that can really kind of make a difference here. So your singular, unique, and individual approach is really where your power is. I would love for you to just also focus on past successes when you're looking at how you're creating your online resume or website. Make sure that you're not being too modest, because there's a lot here to love. Literally, we see the heart here with all of this success. Fight for your value, fight for your worth. There could be an awkward interview. This is someone who's not trained in how to interview someone. Try not to let them throw you off. Sometimes if someone is a poor interviewer, but you still give good answers, or you still come across as likable, knowledgeable, and a good fit, you still may move on to the next level. So you may think that you blew the interview, but you'll get a call back, or you might have a chance to interface with another person during that round of interviews, and they're going to counteract the other person. So don't let one person get in the way. And if you don't hear back from that company, it's okay, because you're saving yourself from potential challenges down the line, because there might be some morale issues. So don't force something to fit if it doesn't. Some of you want to go back to school. We'll talk more about that when I look at students in a moment. But whether you're employed or looking for work, this will be rewarded. So it could just be a certification, like a short-term sort of thing, or you may be going to school while you're working, or you're on the heels of graduating. It looks like it's a successful thing. So no matter how you want to look at training, education, certification, it's a yes. So we looked at those that are working and seeking employment. Now let's focus on those. Let's look at those students. I was talking about that. So students, I know it's so hard. For those of you that are still in school, you may want to just jump ship and get straight to work. One thing that I like to remind folks that are in school, I think sometimes taking a semester, you don't have to walk away completely, but if you wanted to travel abroad or take one gap semester, I saw space, right? And decide what it is that you want to do, I think that can be really good. It can also be good, like in that year between when you graduate high school and go to college, to maybe get some internships, get some training, explore things a bit before you decide to pay a lot of money for a course of study that you want to really make sure that you're comfortable with. So I saw gaps. Gaps can be good sometimes. Between my undergraduate and graduate, I basically made sure I could graduate early, and rather than going straight to grad school, I threw out applications to some potential schools, and I went overseas and took an internship. And I worked a little bit in the industry that I was studying to get a degree in, and I decided I wanted to do something slightly different, and that helped me pick my grad school. So that 6 or 7 months away from school between 2 degrees was great. I wish I'd actually taken another 6 or 8 months. There's no rush. There was no rush. So take your time. That's what I get for students. That being said, you've been working hard. For those of you that have chosen a path in communication, perfect. For those of you that are looking to do one in finance, also really good. Management, I'm getting all the options here. So there's make sure you're doing what you want to do. But I basically have a lot of cards of success. Take as much time as you need. Travel if you need to. But overall, it's a good read for students. I just see that gap year or gap semester coming through for some of you. Retirees, let's see what's going on for you. You may feel a little bit restless here with the Hanged Man in reverse. Some of you are sort of like anxious or ready to get some traveling done. If you have the financial stability to do so, absolutely. One thing that I'm not seeing a lot of here is it feels like you want to be on your own. I'm not seeing a lot of people. We have the King of Swords, but I'm not seeing a bunch of other people. The fish card was in reverse, so some of you want to separate a little bit from all of that. And so, hey, if you want to discover something on your own, do a little bit of exploration solo, absolutely. Feel free to do that. This is a legacy sort of connection here, the Ace of Swords, King of Swords, and the World. there may be something that you want to put into writing that you may want to leave for the next generation. You might want to do some teaching. People are willing and ready to listen to you if you want to speak. I love this, but I am getting sort of like next generation or legacy energy here. Some of you are deciding to write or launch something, and you need a little bit of space and time, so take it if you need it. Just because you're retired doesn't mean that projects stop. You could still have a side business. You could still be learning something new. But what I am getting for retirees is being happy with that solo energy. And we're going to be looking at relationships in just a second, but it feels like maybe there's already been a lot of focus on family and you just want to do something for you or you and your partner, and absolutely. Now let's take a look at love and relationships. We'll get started with the Oracle card first. We have a really powerful image here, the Death Mother. So this is basically just a personification of the Death card in tarot. We have divine feminine energy here, but we also do have the angel of death in the background. So let's talk about how this works in a relationship. The first and most powerful message is that change is happening. This is the time where it's important for you to have a conversation about what you want. And the fact that she is holding the reins, or this sort of silver, actually gold cord here of the angel of death, it reminds me a lot of the reins of the chariot. So you have the power to pull things in or out of your orbit. If you're in a relationship and you want to see it go to the next level, you can have that powerful conversation. If you're in even a friendship or a work relationship and you need something more, talk about what your needs are, what your desires are to grow, and see what the other person says. Don't ask if you're worth it, just state the intention and hold space. Then you can kind of read the reaction after that. It's basically just showing you how powerful you are in the capacity of creating change. And just to fast forward to your destiny card, it's going to be change for the better here. So we have death and renewal, or death and rebirth. One door closes, another opens. Let's go ahead now and break this down into three major categories. We're going to look at those in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single, starting off with those in a relationship. So here's the good news. Like I said, you're either growing and going to the next level, or you're moving on. And that is what the World card is saying. Pause before speaking or acting, and then know that when you're ready, it's going to happen. I love in existing relationships that we have both the Ace and the King of Swords here. The lines of communication are open. Keep them open. That is the key to success. Talk about things like, maybe for some of you, it's the desire to, this can also be divine feminine energy. It could be growing the family if you want to expand the family. It could be a move. It could be a move for work. So we're looking at location, money, and sort of family structure for some of you. Now, I like what I see here. I like the work that you've put into the relationship. Six of Wands is a very strong foundational card to have. I like the creative and passionate energy that would be part of the High Priestess. Let's talk about challenges this month. Five of Swords is the core challenge in existing relationships. There are a couple things that are coming through as I look at both of these cards. So it was reversed, but I just want to see it upright so that we can pay attention to it. One thing that this is indicating, and it just came through as I looked at it, is like holier than thou. There may be one partner, or there may be someone in your life that you love a lot that just comes forth and they just believe that they can do no wrong. And that they're better than you. And that can also be some of the energy of this. That is a great way to, basically stop progress and stop communication, because they're not listening to feedback. They just believe that they're right. So if there's a breakdown in communication, remember what we talked about earlier with this. You could just say, let's regroup when you're ready to listen to it. Or I really want you to think about this. You're not listening to me right now, so this isn't constructive. Let's come back later. Don't spin your wheels in a conversation that isn't going in any direction. The other thing that I'm getting, and these are unusual translations for it, but it's what's coming through. I'm an intuitive reader as well. So I got holier than thou because of this. Someone who believes that they can do no wrong, so they've stopped listening. The other one is that someone might be teasing you. And in a way that they think is funny, but it's not. So it could be something about your appearance, the way you talk, something that you do that's unique to where maybe like your culture, where you came from or whatever. It's insensitive, and they're the only one that's enjoying the joke. And that's something that you need to tell them. Say, comedy at my expense is not comedy, it's just teasing. And if you want to be in this relationship with me, it stops right here. It stops right now. We shouldn't have to have this conversation. I would never do something that hurts you. Sarcasm, teasing, and if you have to sort of like say, I was just kidding, it's not a good joke. So those of you that you're like, preach to the choir, Nicholas. You know what I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. It's time to finally put a line in the sand and say, stop it. And if it doesn't stop, that might be, you know it's not going to change. So it's better now to cut your losses on that. The other thing with the Five of Swords is if somebody just likes to get a rise out of you, don't give them the pleasure there. But in a core relationship, let's assume this is the person that you love, that behavior isn't great. And you may need, this is beyond what I can help you with. It might be couples therapy or just a wake-up call where it's sort of like, let's not do that. I think for many of you, it's just someone who thinks they're right. And that's a lot easier to deal with because it's not everything. Sometimes people just feel like they're an expert in a certain field, and you may find a way to eventually have a better conversation around that. And anyway, that's what I'm picking up on with that, is to elevate communication, to keep an open mind, make sure both parties are listening, and really making sure that empathy is present. The Moon card is about secrets, so try not to keep things from one another. It has a way of coming out anyway. It's better if you are the person that brings it up. So, share your hopes, fears, and your dreams with your partner. And also, if there's a secret that needs to be said, get it out in the open. Because aside from these two cards, the rest are good. So just don't get caught up in that kind of energy, and I think things are going to be all right. You may also be dealing with the loss of a loved one. Could be a divine feminine figure like mother, sister, aunt, etc., grandmother. Obviously, this is a time where the two of you want to be together and support one another. Okay, this change can also, like I said, just be a change of job or location. For those of you looking for love, this can be past life karma. Same thing for those in a relationship. Death can just be more than one lifetime. If you are looking for love, we have strong indication that it could be an air sign. There could also be like a water sign coming forth. The challenges for you right now that I'm seeing are some of you are either traveling or just relocating, and it's hard to kind of like get your bearings when that's going on. Some of you are very much in the throes of work. And you may not have as much free time as you want. I've been seeing this for a couple of months for various signs. But if you can get through that, here's what I do like. It's kind of, I get love at first sight. You'll either know it or you won't. And like immediately you'll feel the connection or you won't. Honor that. If you don't feel it within the first 5-10 minutes, it's probably not going to come through later. So I get like that first vibe is everything, and it's for those of you that are dating and trying to meet people. There could be people around you that have a difficult time supporting, understanding, seeing, or even kind of like celebrating your success when it comes to relationships. That's energy that you want to separate yourself from. There could be an inconvenient partnership where you meet someone at work and you have to sort of navigate if that's going to be acceptable, because it can kind of create complexities, but that's what I'm picking up on there. Okay, so we just looked at those in a relationship and seeking love. For those of you that are single and happy, good for you. I get for some of you, it's very much okay. You might have lost a partner. You're not looking to rebound. You're looking instead to focus on maybe getting to see the world a little bit, spending some time on your own. You're happy with what you've built, and you're enjoying the wide open space that I picked up on in my channeled messages. Really lean into creative growth and intuitive growth. The High Priestess can do anything she sets her mind to, but she's especially great at connecting with any sort of creative or artistic endeavor, and is just good at manifesting in general. So the sky's the limit right now if you're interested in doing something. And that's what I'm picking up on with that. Let me see what else is coming forth with these cards here. Also, for those that are single and happy, you could do a lot of work right now with public speaking, with writing. And for some of you, you may also be, like we talked about, going to school or doing some sort of training activity. And all of that bodes well. Okay, let's go ahead now and move on to your Destiny card. You received Osiris. The caption on this is renewal. So if we look at this back to back, we see one door closing and another opening. And as we looked at the cards today, we have the World, which is major expansion, the Wheel of Fortune, which is also major expansion and cyclical change, and then a card of manifestation here. Look at the beautiful web around her. This is a chance for you to weave a new sort of destiny, try something new, and at the end of the day, this is saying you're not stuck. It's basically just about deciding what you want to do next. And perhaps as we take a look here at Sun, Rising, and Moon sign messages, you can get a little bit more clarity on where you should focus. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through for Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Sun, Rising, we've got another synchronistic card there, and Moon. Capricorn, Sun, you got the Star. The Star is one of the brightest, most powerful, most influential cards in the major arcana, and it reminds you this month especially to reach for the stars, to be the light, to basically really align with what it is you want to do. This is a month where your goals can make it to the finish line. You may be put into the spotlight. Whether or not you feel ready or capable, this card only comes through when you are just that. So, don't get in your headspace here. We talked about the Five of Swords and how it can just sort of be whispering, fears or anxieties in your ear. You have no time for that. This is growth, ascension, and movement. So just to reiterate what we saw, the World, which can be travel and expansion, the Wheel of Fortune, which can be a change of job or a change of career or addition of new resources coming into your life, and the Star, which is why it's all happening. Just like our Sun, which is a star, it's the glue. You're the glue. You're the attractive force. You're the manifester. This is a good month. Lean into it, okay? Nothing but good things when we're looking at this, the star here in the Sun sign. So really just own your power, believe in yourself, and work on the self-confidence. I think that's where it all is at. Talk about synchronicities. For Capricorn, Rising, and Ascendant, we have the Death card. Where there's one end, another beginning is just around the corner. And we can actually see the death and renewal on the illustration here. A phoenix rising from the ashes, a soul beginning the journey again, this little butterfly. This is just a portal. That's the main thing. So don't let a setback or a temporary block pull you off this path of expansion. This is also reminding you that change can be exciting. You have a chance to really reimagine yourself. And if there's something that you've been putting time and energy and you're just not getting a return, put your energy somewhere else. Follow the door that is open, okay? Rather than trying to push down a closed door, let the energy of change allow you to go down a new path this month. So change for the better, if I had to summarize this. And then rising up from any challenge or setback stronger, because we have the Phoenix on that card as well. For Capricorn Moon, this is a completion card, the Ten of Wands. I love this illustration too. So we have this pressure here from the bear, all of those claws on the back of this person. Sometimes when you're close to the finish line, you can feel that sense of pressure that you put on yourself for perfection, expectations from friends and family, etc. Don't let that weigh you down. You're very close to finishing something. This is also, if we look at finances, sometimes bears can be a little bit sort of like hesitant, just like I was hesitating in saying the word. I want you to be bullish on the future, not bearish on the future. So really believe in yourself, get to that finish line. If you need a little bit of support along the way, ask. But the good news here is anything you set your mind to doing, you can do. As we're looking at this individual here, they have their hand on the steering column here. So one thing that Spirit is basically saying with this illustration is, now that you're almost finished with something, what's next? Or if you're just embarking on something new, think about how this aligns to the next piece of the journey, and always having that next leg of the sort of adventure planned out is also what's going to help you in the long run, just to continue to be successful. When you look at really great leaders, they are not just focusing only on one project. They have a lot of different things that they're doing at once. So keep thinking of the big picture. Let's go ahead now and take a look at one final question that you might have for me. It can be anything that I have yet to answer. Go ahead and put that into your mind, and let's just give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. You received the Five of Wands. If you ask me a yes or no question, Five of Wands typically indicates that there's a better match out there. if you've already committed to something, it's saying there's more work connected to this than you might have originally imagined. And the biggest challenge with that work is staying engaged. So we have the god of fire here, Pele. And basically we see the potential for things to go really big. And we saw that with the Wheel of Fortune, the world, all of that. But there's some limiting factors. There's some things that are kind of capping potential right now. And it could simply be there's a lot of competition, there's a lack of leadership, maybe a lack of sort of morale. And so for certain things particularly in work and social endeavors, I think there's a better match. If you're just feeling uninspired, this is also a reality check to see what else is out there. So as a yes or no, I would say keep doing some research. I think there's better things to engage with. Even if it's a relationship, it's going to be more work than you think. The good thing with this, though, is look at all the fire and the passion and the power, and look at how it all comes from you. And you have the capacity to rise up from any challenge, even if it is competition or lack of inspiration. You can get through this. You can get to the next level. And the next card in this suit is the Six of Wands. It's already in your spread. So a little bit of a push is necessary, and the payoff is totally worth it. So don't give up, right? Keep pushing to that finish line. You've worked this hard. Success is yours to have. All right, that's everything, my friends. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor. Please like and subscribe. It helps me understand that this made a difference. It also helps people discover it because the algorithm picks it up and suggests it to other people. So thank you for that. If you want to follow me on social media, you can do so just to get news and information and reminders when I drop new videos. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all platforms. Remember, I don't offer readings. I don't use direct messages. If anyone does that, just block and report and stay safe. To show love and support, you can do it right here on YouTube through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. Thank you in advance for anybody that does that because it does allow me to do things like podcasts. So I just want to show love and support and say thank you for that. And that's everything, folks. Thank you for being a part of this wonderful reading, for allowing me to basically share the last 50 minutes or so with you. You have a lot of choices here on YouTube, and it's my honor that I was able to help you navigate the month ahead. Take care. I'll see you soon.